Ukraine's energy lifelines are once again under attack, as Russian strikes tear through critical infrastructure across the country. Several areas came under heavy bombardment. CCTV video released by the mayor's office in Lviv shows the moment a drone struck a public park with a children's playground. Mayor Andrei Sadovy said a tractor driver clearing snow in the park suffered minor injuries in the blast. Nearby homes sustained damage, with windows shattered by the explosion. Sadovy noted the strike hit a site of symbolic importance, home to a statue of Ukrainian national hero Stepan Bandera. Bandera led a Ukrainian nationalist movement in the 1930s and 40s, including a rebel army that fought alongside Nazi forces, a legacy that remains deeply controversial and is viewed negatively in Russia. In Kharkiv, a large energy facility has been destroyed following Russian bombardment, according to Mayor Ihor Terekov. Earlier, he confirmed that Russian forces were striking areas on the outskirts of the city, escalating fears of wider damage. Since the full-scale invasion began in February 2022, Russia has repeatedly targeted Ukraine's power grid. But officials say attacks have intensified sharply since autumn 2025, with energy and heating systems increasingly in the crosshairs. Ukraine's security service has classified these strikes as crimes against humanity. It says that since the start of this heating season alone, it has documented 256 Russian air attacks on energy facilities and heating infrastructure nationwide. The situation is especially severe in Kyiv. Following a Russian strike on January 9th, emergency power outages continue across parts of the capital. Mayor Vitaly Klitschko described the attack on critical infrastructure as the most severe Kyiv has faced, calling the current conditions the most challenging in 4 years. Elsewhere, Russian strikes on November 2nd caused a complete blackout in Donetsk and partial outages in Zaporizhzhia, Kharkiv, and Chernihiv regions. In Zhytomyr region, nearly 1,800 residents of the Bilo-Kharovichi community remain without electricity and heating after recent attacks. Emergency crews and support centers are working all clock to restore services. In Kharkiv region, a Russian strike hit a traction substation, cutting power to nearly 35,000 customers. Authorities say restoration efforts are underway and no civilian casualties have been reported. As winter deepens, Ukraine faces mounting pressure on its power systems, with civilians once again paying the price of a war that continues to target energy, heat, and daily life.
In the past 2 weeks of January, a total of 8 settlements were successfully liberated, with over 300 square kilometers of territory coming under our control. The northern group of troops continues to execute its mandate to expand the security perimeter in the border regions of Ukraine's Sumy and Kharkiv regions. We have now secured the liberation of Gorobovskoye and Komarovka. The tasks of the special military operation remain ongoing. The advance of combined forces is being conducted on almost all fronts, with a sustained offensive by various formations and military units. In the past 2 weeks of January, a total of 8 settlements were successfully liberated, with over 300 square kilometers of territory coming under our control. The northern group of troops continues to execute its mandate to expand the security perimeter in the border regions of Ukraine's Sumy and Kharkiv regions. We have now secured the liberation of Gorobovskoye and Komarovka. In the Kupiansk sector, the Western group's troops continue to dismantle enemy formations and eliminate armed forces resistance. The settlement of Podoli has been liberated. Street battles are ongoing, and the liberation of Kupiansk-Uzlovoy is nearing completion. After the liberation of Kupiansk last November, units from the Western Group made several attempts to assert their presence in the city. These included attempts to install Ukrainian flags on administrative buildings using drones. Such actions have been halted. Additionally, the troops of the Western Group are actively advancing in the Krasno-Limansk direction. The Southern Troop Group, having liberated Seversk, is actively advancing westward towards Slavyansk. Intense fighting continues to dismantle the Ukrainian Armed Forces unit in Konstantinovka. The Eastern Group, having completed the liberation of Gulaipole and crossed the Gaichur River, is pushing forward in the Zaporizhzhia region while also expanding the security zone around Dnipropetrovsk. Units of the Dnieper Group are moving towards the city of Zaporizhzhia. The settlements of Belogorye and Novobaikovskoye have been liberated. The fiercest fighting took place in the area of responsibility of the Central Group of forces. Units and formations of the group, having completed the encirclement and destruction of the enemy and liberated Krasnoarmyansk and Dimitrov, are now advancing further to continue liberating the territory of the Donetsk People's Republic. The command of the Ukrainian armed forces is attempting to halt our advance by any means necessary, regardless of the losses incurred. However, thanks to the bravery and heroism of our soldiers and officers, the meticulous and well-coordinated efforts of the headquarters, and the confident leadership of subordinate units and commanders, these enemy plans have been thwarted. Today, as part of our briefing, we will review the results of the combat missions carried out by the formations and units of the Central Group of Forces, and clarify the tasks and the next steps. Let's get started.
Ukraine's newly appointed defense minister, Mikhailo Fedorov, has told parliament that nearly 200,000 Ukrainian soldiers are absent without official leave, meaning they have abandoned their positions without authorization. At the same time, Fedorov disclosed that as many as 2 million Ukrainian citizens are now officially wanted for avoiding military service, a figure that lays bare the depth of strain inside a country fighting a prolonged and brutal war. The comments were delivered inside the Ukrainian parliament just hours before lawmakers confirmed Fedorov as the country's new defense chief.
Times of India videos, your daily dose of India and the world. Global news, different views, and sharp analysis.
Pressure of expectation from your fans, your supporters.
That is often served as a backdrop for several Bollywood.
You're not a brute majority anymore. If you individually take out Tera.
Making sense of global conflicts. Tracking the new emerging world order.
Strike on Israeli military bases.
A multi-pronged.
To stay out of harm's way as Israel started bombing targets across.
Understanding changing alliances in a polarized world. Tune into TOI videos for all this and more. Click on the bell icon to subscribe and never miss an update.